Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that might shake you a little, but I'm going to keep it real with you, like I always do. Let me break something down for you that a lot of folks get twisted. People always thinking men fall in love with the baddest woman in the room. They think if you dress a certain way, if you wear enough makeup, if you've got the curves and the charm, you'll win him over. And yeah, a man might look your way. He might even talk a little, but that don't mean you've got his heart. See, what people don't realize is men don't fall in love with perfection. They fall in love with peace and purpose. A man can meet 10 beautiful women, 10 successful women, 10 loud and flashy women, but the one he keeps thinking about is the one that made him feel safe, not judged, not controlled, not constantly compared to somebody else. A man walks around with a weight on his back every single day. The pressure to succeed, to provide, to perform is real. Society expects us to never crack, never cry, never complain. We're told to just man up and keep going. So when a man finds a woman who doesn't add to that weight but helps lighten it, that's the woman he can't forget. That's the one who stands out without having to try too hard. She brings calm to his chaos. She's not loud, she's present. She's not flashy, she's real. And most of all, she gives him peace, the kind this world doesn't offer him anywhere else. See, ladies, what you might not know is this: when a man gets around a woman who makes him feel understood, heard, and appreciated, something changes in him. He lets his guard down. He stops pretending. He stops fronting like he's got it all together. Because with her, he don't have to. With her, he can breathe. He can be himself. And that right there is where love starts for a man. Not with how much you impress him, but with how much you make him feel like he ain't got to impress you at all. That's real love. That's lasting love. Men are taught to chase success. But when a man grows up, when he starts to understand what matters, he stops looking for a trophy and starts looking for a teammate. Somebody who's going to ride with him through the highs and the lows. Somebody who's got his back, not just when things are good, but when life knocks the wind out of him. And guess what? The loudest one in the room usually ain't the one he remembers. It's the one who sat with him in silence and gave him peace when the world got too noisy. Peace don't come in a dress. Peace don't come in a selfie. Peace don't come from how many people like you. It comes from how you make that man feel about himself when he's with you. Does he feel respected? Does he feel supported? Does he feel like he's allowed to be weak for a moment without being torn down for it? Because if he finds you and you give him that kind of love, he ain't going nowhere. It don't take 20 women to make a man happy. It takes one woman who gets it. One woman who knows how to make him feel like he's not just a paycheck, not just a provider, not just somebody to brag about, but a man with emotions, a man with dreams, a man with fears he can't talk about out loud. And if you're that woman, if you can give him that kind of peace, you ain't got to worry about competition. You don't have to outdo nobody. You already won, because a man will always come home to peace every single time. That's why a man don't fall for the loudest, the prettiest, or the most popular. He falls for peace. And when he finds it in one woman, all the rest fade into the background. Let me tell you something that most folks don't talk about enough. There's a whole world of difference between being wanted for what you give and being loved for who you are. And men, we feel that difference. Deep down, we know when someone is looking at us like we're just a wallet, a ladder, or a safety net. And we know when someone sees us as a man, not a bank account, not a job title, not just some status symbol, but a real man with depth, dreams, fears, and the need to be respected. See, a man chooses the woman who makes him feel like a man, not just a provider. You can't build a lasting relationship on what somebody can do for you. Because that kind of love, it's conditional, it's temporary. That's the kind of love that disappears the moment the money slows down or the lifestyle changes. But the woman who truly sees a man, who sees him when he's tired, when he's broken, when he's trying and failing and trying again, that's the woman who leaves a mark on his soul. That's the woman he chooses. Not because she needed him, but because she believed in him. Men are built to carry weight. That's true. We take on pressure, we grind, we hustle. But that doesn't mean we want to be reduced to that role. We want to be more than a job, more than a plan, more than a provider. We want to be appreciated not just for the roof we put over your head, but for the person underneath that roof who's fighting every day to be better. And when a man finds a woman who sees that in him, who respects his effort and speaks to his heart, something changes. He starts walking different. He stands a little taller. Because it ain't just about earning love, it's about being loved while he earns. Let me be clear, men love to give, we do. We'll give you our time, our money, our energy, our last name. But we also want to feel like that giving means something beyond the material. Because what good is a man's effort if all he hears is, you didn't do enough? What good is his sacrifice if he's constantly reminded of what he didn't buy, didn't say, didn't become? See, that kind of pressure don't make a man stronger, it wears him out. But the woman who says, I see you, I appreciate you, I respect what you're doing, even when it ain't perfect. Now that woman builds a man up. She puts breath back into his lungs. That kind of love, that's unforgettable. When a man is with a woman who makes him feel like a man, not a machine, not a paycheck, he gives her everything. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about his loyalty, his focus, his best self, because she inspires him, not manipulates him. She brings the kind of energy that says, I don't need you to be perfect, I just need you to be real with me. That's what men are craving. We don't always say it out loud, but that's the truth. We want to feel needed emotionally, not just financially. We want to feel like we matter, not just what we can provide. A man will ignore 10 women chasing his pockets if he finds one who touches his heart, one who reminds him that he's a man with value, even on the days when he can't give much. The kind of woman who says, I got you, even when he's falling apart inside, that's who he holds on to. That's who he chooses. And when he finds her, the game is over, the search is done, because now it ain't about what he has to give, it's about who he wants to give it to. And trust me, that kind of connection, you'll let go of that. That's why a man doesn't stay where he's used, he stays where he's seen. Everybody talks about what men want like it's some big mystery. You hear it all the time. She's got to look a certain way, dress a certain way, carry herself like this or that. And yeah, men do notice beauty. Ain't no man blind, but let me be real with you. It don't keep him. Looks might turn a man's head, but they don't hold his heart. Because when it comes down to choosing who to love, who to trust, who to build a life with, there are two things that matter more than anything else: loyalty and emotional safety. You see, a man can date pretty, he can flirt with fine, he can admire attractive all day long. But when he's thinking about who he wants by his side in the trenches, when life gets messy, when money tightens up, when the spotlight fades, he's not asking who looks good on Instagram. He's asking who's going to stay when the storm hits. Who's got my back when I don't have it all together? That's what real men want. We want to come home and not have to wear armor inside our own house. We want a woman who's loyal, who don't switch sides when things get hard, who don't use our weakest moments against us later. That's emotional safety, and you can't put a price tag on it. Let me tell you something. Loyalty is more powerful than lipstick. It's stronger than style. A loyal woman, one who's real even when it's rough, who loves you not just when you're winning, but when you're trying, that kind of woman is priceless. Because a man's world is full of pressure. We deal with rejection, competition, stress, and criticism out there every single day. So when a man finds a woman who makes him feel safe, who listens without attacking, who doesn't make him feel small when he's vulnerable, that woman becomes everything. She becomes home. And I know in this world today, everybody wants to look the part. Everybody wants status, clout, attention. But you can't build a strong relationship on outside things. A man don't stay because of how good you look walking into a room. He stays because of how good he feels walking out of a storm with you still by his side. That's emotional safety. That's loyalty. And when a man finds both in one woman, he's done searching. He can be himself with her. He can talk without being judged. He can open up without being laughed at. That's rare. And when a man gets a taste of that kind of peace, all the noise around him starts to fade. I'm talking about the kind of woman who don't care what people say about him, what the headlines are, or what his past looks like. Because she knows who he is at the core. She's not in it for the lifestyle, the spotlight, or the name. She's in it for him. And he feels that. He feels the difference between someone who loves him for what he can do versus someone who loves him for who he is. And once he knows that love is real, there's no turning back. That's why a woman with loyalty and emotional strength can't be replaced. That's why she don't have to compete. Because a man will take peace over pressure. He'll take depth over image. He'll take one ride or die woman over 100 who just want a piece of the shine. Because when he lays his head down at night, it's not the compliments, the curves, or the attention that gives him peace. It's knowing the woman he loves will still be there when the applause stops. So yeah, men may look around, admire beauty, respect success, but in the end, they settle down with the one who's loyal and who makes them feel safe. And trust me, once he feels that, he's ignoring everybody else. You won't know the truth about men? I'll tell you something most people won't even realize. We may act tough, walk tall, talk strong, but deep down, every man is carrying a dream, a vision, something he's trying to build, something he's hoping for. Now, we don't always say it out loud. Sometimes we keep it tucked away inside because we're afraid people won't understand it. But when a man meets a woman who believes in his dream, who sees what he sees even before it comes true, that's the woman who stands out from all the rest. That's the one he locks in on. See, it's easy to support a man once he's made it, once the money's flowing, once the doors are opening, once everybody knows his name, then everybody wants to be around. But a real one, a real woman, She supports the man before the spotlight, before the checks, before the stage. She's the one clapping when no one else is watching. She's asking about the late nights, encouraging the long hours, praying over his plan. That kind of belief, that's powerful because it tells a man, you're not in this alone. And you better believe men remember that. We remember the woman who was in our corner when we didn't have much to show for it. We remember the words that lifted us when we were doubting ourselves. You have no idea how much impact your voice has when a man is trying to find his way. One sincere word from the right woman can fuel a man for weeks, because when you're out there fighting for a dream, the world can get real cold real fast. But when he comes home to someone who says, I believe in you, it gives him the strength to go out and fight all over again. There's something powerful about a woman who doesn't just see a man for who he is, but for who he can become. She's not judging him based on his bank account, his resume, or how fast he's climbing. She's looking at his potential. She sees the man he's working hard to become, and instead of doubting him, she joins him. She helps build, not tear down. She speaks life, not fear. And in a world full of critics, that kind of faith is priceless. When a man finds a woman like that, everything changes. He stops second guessing. He starts moving with more confidence. He takes risks he never thought he could take, because now he's not just dreaming for himself. He's dreaming for them. He wants to make it not just to say, I did it, but to look at her and say, we did it together. That's love right there. That's partnership. And that's what separates the woman he dates from the woman he builds with. And I'll tell you this. There's a special glow that comes over a man when he's loved by a woman who believes in him. He's more focused, more motivated, more driven. He's not trying to impress the world. He's trying to honor the one who stayed down when it was all still a vision in his head. That woman becomes his reason, his anchor, his reminder of what matters most. So if you're wondering why he chose her, why he passed up others who maybe had more, looked better, or had more status, it's simple. He chose the one who looked at him and didn't see what he lacked. She saw what he was made of. She saw the fire in him even when the world saw ashes. And when a man finds that kind of belief in a woman, that ain't something he takes lightly. That ain't something he lets go of. That's the kind of love he'll give his all to every day for the rest of his life. Let me tell you something real right now. Consistency and emotional connection, that's what separates a woman from the rest. That's what makes her unforgettable in a man's heart. See, people think it's always about doing something big, flashy, dramatic. They think you got to keep surprising a man or blowing his mind with something new. But the truth is, a grown man, he don't want games. He don't want confusion. He don't want emotional roller coasters. He wants peace, and he wants consistency. A woman who's the same every time he comes to her. The same in her love, the same in her tone, the same in how she shows up for him. That right there, that's rare. That's powerful. A man may meet many women in his life. He might have fun, he might laugh, he might enjoy company, but the one he can't stop thinking about is the one who gave him stability. Not just in routine, but in emotion. In a world that constantly shifts on him, the woman who stands steady becomes his anchor, the one who doesn't flip on him, who doesn't withdraw love when she's mad, who doesn't go silent when things get tough. At emotional consistency, that's peace, that's trust, and it's unforgettable. When a man connects with a woman emotionally, really connects, that bond goes deep, way deeper than physical, way deeper than surface. We're talking about the kind of connection where he can talk to her about what's heavy on his heart without being judged, where he can come to her tired, confused, or even broken, and she don't try to fix him. She just sits with him in it. That kind of presence is rare. That kind of connection don't come around every day. And when a man feels that, he don't forget it. He might move on, life might change, but that feeling, it stays with him. Let me put it like this. A man remembers how a woman made him feel, not how she dressed, not what she posted, not how she looked walking in the room. He remembers how she looked at him when he was vulnerable. He remembers how she listened when he couldn't find the right words. He remembers how she showed up for him, not just once, but over and over again. Because that's what consistency looks like. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present every time he needs you. That's how bonds are built. That's how trust is earned. And you want to know something else? When a man finds a woman who's emotionally consistent, it heals him. Because the world don't offer that kind of space to men. Out there, we're taught to tough it out, to keep it all in, to never show weakness. But when we come across a woman who lets us be soft, who lets us be real, who sees us and doesn't flinch, that kind of emotional safety changes everything. He starts opening up in ways he never thought he could. He starts becoming a better man, not because he has to, but because he wants to. For her, that's why men don't chase the loudest. They don't chase the most dramatic. They don't chase the one who plays hard to get for attention. They stay with the one who brings them peace, who stays the same in love on a Monday as she does on a Friday, who connects, not just touches, who speaks to his heart, not just his ego. Because at the end of the day, when all the noise fades, it's that connection, that feeling that lasts. It's that consistency that becomes the standard. And once he experiences it, once he knows what that feels like, nothing else even compares. Let me break something down for you that most people overlook. In all the talk about attraction, chemistry, looks, money, what really makes a man stay, what really makes him choose, comes down to one thing: peace. That's right. When a man feels peace with a woman, real deep soul level peace, he stops looking anywhere else. He stops comparing. He stops wondering what's out there. Because when you find peace in another person, you've found something that money can't buy and no other woman can compete with. You see, life for a man is pressure. It's heavy. From the moment we wake up, we're carrying something. Expectations, responsibilities, battles nobody sees. So when a man finds a woman who doesn't add to that pressure, but instead brings peace into his world, that woman becomes his safe space. He don't have to wear a mask with her. He don't have to pretend. He don't have to perform. He can just be. And let me tell you something, when a man can just be with a woman, that's freedom. And you better believe it, do everything to keep it. Now, peace don't mean being quiet all the time. It don't mean avoiding problems or never arguing. Peace means understanding. It means knowing how to talk without tearing each other down. It means having disagreements without disrespect. It means being able to sit in silence and still feel secure. A peaceful woman doesn't mean she's passive, nah. She's strong, but her strength is calm. Her presence makes him feel grounded, not guarded. That's a whole different kind of love. Men don't always talk about this, but we crave peace more than we crave praise. We want a place to land after a hard day, a voice that soothes instead of stabs, a heart that listens instead of lectures. And when a woman brings that into a man's life, she becomes more than just his woman. She becomes his home. That's why he stops looking. That's why no one else can tempt him, because peace is rare, and once a man finds it, he'll do anything not to lose it. Let me tell you what peace looks like to a man. It's not drama every week. It's not playing mind games just to keep him guessing. It's not using silence as punishment. It's not making him feel like he's never enough. Peace is when she communicates clearly, when she speaks to him with kindness, when she checks on his soul, not just his schedule, when she supports his vision without trying to control it, when she sees him not as a project to fix, but as a man to walk with. That's peace. That's rare, that's unforgettable. And the real ones know when a man finds peace, he protects it, he values it, he honors it. He starts making decisions differently. He becomes more intentional, more present, more locked in. Because now it's not about finding someone new, it's about keeping what's real. He knows he's got something most men are still out there searching for. He's got a woman who brings calm to his chaos, who brings clarity to his confusion, who brings comfort to his pain. That kind of woman, you don't play with that. You build with that. You grow with that. So if you ever wonder why he chose her over all the others, why he stopped chasing the spotlight or entertaining attention, it's because she gave him something deeper. She gave him peace. And in a world full of noise, stress, and pressure, peace is the most attractive thing a man can find. Not beauty, not status, not fame. Peace, the kind that quiets his mind, calms his heart, and makes him feel like he's exactly where he's supposed to be.